Hello, ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, we shocked you last week by giving you a very different map than usual, but don't worry, we're back on Orsha North. This is the monthly tournament. Rang, who do we have and what's going on?
Okay, so, on the left-hand side in the blue, we have DarkNeutron, playing 78th Sturm with a Maverick income. Right-hand side in the red, we have Who Is Coming, otherwise known as Luna, playing as the Italian Liberation Free Corps, whatever, Maverick income.
No, it's mildly amusing. I feel like Luna from week to week is just like, what tag should I be this week? And you kind of just spin something and just said, let's see what goes on.
Gotta make our lives confusing.
It's kind of liberating, Kind of like the Italians.
Yeah.
Now, interesting opening to the northern side, like a trip mortar, trip 2-inch mortar. So we've seen knee mortars before. They can be really, really good. Well, how's this going to play against the 78th?
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea, because the 78th has some very, very scary infantry. I mean, we all remember the SD2 release, where it's just Sturmgewehrs galore. But we're seeing recently, in a lot of these tournaments, in this Steel Division, to, like the smaller 50, 60 mil mortars are getting more play, because they're very cost efficient, and, you do a barrage head-on, or top-down, I should say, onto an infantry squad, they're going to get stunned. And it's a really cheap way to stun even the most highly vetted infantry units.
Yeah, and we're actually going to see some of the example happening with Red Butt now? Oh no, it's 2-inch more just engaging a flame trooper. Okay, that's nothing too crazy. And honestly, at this point, too, I think it's been a case of who's going to blink first. And I think it's going to be the Flammenwerfer, as opposed to Lance die Fiamme.
Yeah. I guess it's like a lance of flame. I guess a flamethrower is really just shooting a launch of flame.
Wait, oh my gosh, the battery is firing to the northern side. Here's a perfect example. The Sturm shoots and getting absolutely pounded, and it doesn't matter how great your MP44s are. If you can't see anybody, you can't shoot them.
Yeah, so it's a very good pin down. Unfortunately, there's nothing to really... Oh, he's going to do the counterattack now. He's just going to be barraging that forest. And I do like how he has taken some Stuart tanks in the CLI. In the last replay we've seen with them, one of the issues was the lack of light tanks. So even though you don't have as many Shermans in a phase, I think those Stuarts are definitely, worthwhile. Probably a little bit more worthwhile to have in these early stages of the match.
Well, and what's more too is the 78th Sturm, yes, you're going to be fighting against Stugs, which one-on-one should, emphasis on should, be able to kill your Stuarts, but 78th Sturm is not a vehicle-heavy deck. Like, you don't think to yourself, the 78th Sturm, we gotta watch out for their powerful panzers. It's like, oh, no, they got some guns, and it's scary, but not that bad.
Yeah, they got enough stugs to keep things rolling. Of course, you do have the heavy anti-tank with the Nashorns, but, Nashorns don't really see that much play in 1v1s. They're very expensive and very vulnerable to really anything. So I think it's just going to be more focus on really just infantry and artillery, even though it doesn't have a whole lot of artillery. It has a decent amount of off-map. But of course, 78th Sturm infantry, if he can disengage at long range, he is going to win those firefight. Most of the time, unless he has to fight against 4-man, like 4 Bren teams.
Well, we're seeing a good example of that down to the south. Yes, we have a Bren group over here inside that house, and yes, they're engaging a Schutzen with decent firepower so far. But you don't really want your infantry fights to be happening where you fire one burst and you bolt for the hills. Yeah.
And I feel like down south here, Neutron should be able to secure this farmstead area. Oh, he's supposed to go for the Maros, and the Maros are actually a really good counter to the Schutzens. Mm-hmm. Of course, with the Beretta SMGs, those things are just absolutely deadly. So honestly, yeah, Luna has... I keep forgetting how good the CLI infantry can be, and it's working really well. Luna's at a 16-8.
Yeah, but part of that, I think, is just because the central position, there's so many flags. And frankly, everybody tends to take a very laissez-faire, or whatever the Italian version of that might be. A very hands-off approach over here in the central position, and they stick a couple of recon squads in there, or they stick like a flame trooper in there or something like that. And I always kind of felt myself asking, What happens if they're a little bit more aggressive? What happens if you put down a couple of machine guns in that central position? You hold it for a lot longer, and we've seen that happen time and again in a lot of other replays.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a... You never really see people ever really push the central position. And even though it isn't much of a push, it's just a good, bleed which Luna is being able to do on DarkNeutron here for not a whole lot of effort, so it's definitely quite worthwhile. Up north, he's actually managed to get a foothold into the northern town. I like that a lot.
Exactly. And the RDT is definitely a good part of that right there, but the Commandosi, I mean, this is how you hold a town.
Yeah.
The RDT, I mean, there'll be those mad bastards who just continue to hold on to things regardless, but the Commandosi, they're effective. They're not the cheapest of guys necessarily. They're about in line with everything else. But they're really, really solid and really, really well-rounded. So
yeah,
hey.
Raider Trait and Piatti is
Mm-hmm.
pretty damn good. Of course, the problem is that he's a little bit outgunned. There's a whole lot of angry Germans on the other side of that town, and he's going to be exposing himself to some rather heavy fire.
Well, yeah, it certainly seems to be the case. I was just watching the BF-109 getting just attacked like crazy by a lot of those ground positions.
Yeah. But yeah, so far, Luna has been able to definitely lead the momentum in this match, really pushing heavy and, well, mainly in the center and north. Down south, it's more of just a Holden action. And Holden he doesn't hold the flag, but he still has a foothold on that hill, thanks to the deadliness of the Maros. And really, DarkNeutron needs some sort of artillery. It's just going to be a problem with DarkNeutron. He does have artillery, but it's off-map and neighbor efforts, which is expensive. He doesn't have any cheap indirect fire support. And, with 2-inch mortars and whatnot, those types of units, you want those types of units in 70. If you want some basic mortars, just for, digging out basic troops in forests.
True. It is worth mentioning, though, yes, while it does have to wait until Phase B, he also does have... No, yeah, I was going to say, he said he has no supply trucks. That's absolutely incorrect, though. Straight to the northern side, by the way, engaging the 2-inch mortars. I'm not entirely sure what they were expecting to do with their tiny little thrown grenades, shall we say. But they pay the price for their temerity, so not too bad there.
Yeah, but Luna has been able to pretty much secure that hill, and that Stug is really just more of a defensive unit, just to stop anything from getting down from the hill. Yeah, I think DarkNeutron's just kind of suffering a bit from not being able to effectively bring in enough fire support. He does have the infantry, but of course, the Italian infantry are holding their own quite well.
Well, and even when he does bring in the right infantry, the right support, we have things like the Maros, for example, it just happened down to the south. There was a Stug there. Now it's a very, very metal campfire. As the Maros kind of come out, fire off a Panzerfaust, and then just sell their lives rather dearly.
Yeah.
Now, this is an issue, though. I don't like this. I don't like... Yes, you have to go after the hilltop. I appreciate that. Please use a little bit of smoke. Schutzen and Stormschützen are going to be nearly impossible to just charge, and we're seeing the effect of that right about now.
Yeah, if DarkNeutron can keep the fights out in the open and at long range for the machine gewehr fire, and he's going to be winning these infantry engagement. Luna really needs to worry about getting CQC and using the SMG advantage, which his division has. Of course, he does also have the massive Bren squads, but he doesn't have as many of them compared to the amount of Schutzen which DarkNeutron can Schutzen riv.
True. We also have the old expedient of using Stewards down to the southern side. That's a nice solid call here. Northern town, by the way, it looks like the Liberation Army is looking to liberate a little bit more real estate. Is that a 25 pounder or an 81 mil? It's 81 mil. Okay.
81. Yeah, just how from having the bloody radio of those 81 mils for the Italians is such a huge bonus, because it allows you to get very, in this case not so much accurate because there's no spotter. Oh, I get no, he's actually spotting for himself. I'm an idiot. Nonetheless, it's just very accurate fire, and you see just the cheap indirect fire support is paying dividends here for Luna all over the map because he's been able to keep the infantry suppressed.
Of course, suppression is half the battle.
Yeah.
Knowledge is the other half.
God.
Yeah, it truly is. It's knowledge and suppression. If you can make the enemy, if you know where he is, and you can make him not want to put his head up, it's pretty damn important.
Yeah, Steel Division meta for the last 5 years.
yeah. Stewards have deployed to the southern hilltop. Commandosi, Maros are in the trees. Funny thing, though, is that right now the Sturmschützen and many Schützen just waiting to throw their little hand grenades and Panzerfaust the other direction here.
Yeah. He really dislikes the anti-tank. I mean, he's bringing in the Panzerschreck to try and pop those Stuarts, but it's going to slow down his advance and allow Luna to bring in some more defenses. So that's some Tourney mills, which is... I think that's more just for infantry fire support and anti-air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
no, it's just funny. In Neutron's deck, he has 2 BF-109s, and that's his air power.
Yeah. It's not really what you expect to kind of have to deal with. Especially on the other side, you can see right now, a lot of bombers coming on in, and I think this is going to be a dead Sturm one way or the other. I mean, there's still another Sturm, another Sherman that can kill it, but nope, there we go.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, there's very strong positions all over from Luna. And we're on to B phase, so both sides are going to be ramping up to the extreme. Still managed to hold that northern section of the town. The southern section of the northern town is not looking great, but he's still holding for DarkNeutron. So I don't know where DarkNeutron can come out on top. Maybe more just pushing in the center where it's a little bit more open, and where he can use his direct fire support weaponry to his advantage.
But his direct fire support is being countered really, really well. With these IG-33, the PaK-40 that's right there, 2-inch mortar doing a lot of work. 81mm mortar doing a lot of work. I wouldn't say it's God's work per se. It certainly isn't Mussolini's. Maybe like a Garibaldi's work. I don't know. Regardless, though, Stewart's down to the south, doing what they do best, which is spraying machine gun fire and light anti-infantry fire all over that eastern forest, just allowing those Maros. Maros are going to curve in and around. Actually, I do like this push. I didn't like the fact he wasn't using any kind of smoke, but I do like the way that he's aggressively using that cover.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the Maros in to knock out the leader. The Schuchen are being forced back because they've exposed themselves to tanks, and tanks don't quite, they don't like things which are bad guys. Or infantry bad guys.
So they don't like things that are bad guys. I would say there's definitely a bit of a sliding scale on that one. What's the Martyr shooting at? Oh, Martyr shooting at a Commandosi. Okay, big deal.
Well, because the Martyr has a pretty good shot down the road, yeah. You can try and deny a few of those reinforcements coming up, which is not bad. But yeah, it's Maropus. I definitely like it a lot. The Stuarts are going to be... And also, as we're seeing the fire support come in now, once those mortars and fire support comes online, DarkNeutron's, pushes just end up collapsing.
Which makes you kind of wonder the question, where's the first Nebelwerfer going to go in? Because I feel like he's got to know that the Nebelwerfer is the most important piece to kind of turning this around.
Yeah. You can just use that to barrage an area and, like a Wolf map, just move on through and pick up the remains, because he will need that. He needs the off map or the neighbor effort to be able to regain the advantage. Because at least the one benefit for him is that a lot of Luna's units are mainly just infantry, and infantry don't like being blown up by off map.
Ooh, Martyr 2 got a gun jam over here. That was very, very unlucky. You were saying about he had a great shot down the road. Now the enemy has a great shot at him, though, too. So,
yeah.
Death and destruction over there. Northern side, in the meantime, Schützen trying desperately to kind of hold back the tide of Italians. And the town has changed hands.
Yeah. DarkNeutron managing to kick out the commandos. If we see some commandos on the southern edge of the town, barely... contesting that flag, yeah. So that's going to be a little bit of a relief there for DarkNeutron. And that northern push just not going well. Once again, he has the shoottion, but not the supportion.
That is unfortunately very, very accurate here. 2 inch goes down in the meantime. And just taking a quick look, he's got 3, okay. He's got 6 of those, okay. Mm-hmm.
Like down south, Neutron's actually playing into the opposite town here, managing to capture one flag. But of course, we've just seen the mortar continually fire. He could actually, just pushing in the center in this town area, I think, is a great move here for Neutron. He needs to play in the open ground. It's a better, better geography for his Stugs and for his machine guns. Because those Shermans and Staghounds aren't going to be able to perform out long range against Stugs.
No. I mean, the only thing that actually might be able to do decently well, and not just in like an armor matchup per se, is that Wolverine.
Yeah. Also some 17-pounders as well, which can be brought in to help defend the center. And also, 17-pounders, due to just lack of, indirect fire, could prove to be very good in this matchup. But once again, they're very specialized unit in killing tanks, and there's only so many tanks they need to kill, because they're HE.
True.
Oh, Neighbor Alpha is being brought in. 2 Neighbor Alphas being brought in, so we're going to see some big booms rather soon.
Well, I think that's the right call to bring them into the medium in the south. Because if you look to the northern side, there's a sweep that's happening through these trees. That town, yes, there are technically still Italians in the southeastern portion of it, but there's been a sweep, and he's going to control everything along that road. The Stug by itself controls basically everything up to that road. So there's a potential here. There's not crazy potential, but there's potential for some turnaround.
Yeah, it does feel like he is bringing in the correct units to make a push happen. It's just going to be about whether these Neighbor Alpha strikes are decisive. Because if he can follow up through with his Shuchen and then hold the territory, because there's some good territory to hold, once you get into that town and lock it down, those machine guns are just going to deny the Italians from getting in close.
Very, very true. Now, to the southern side, we did see as Stug Führer kind of get brought on in and able to take out both those Stuarts, which is it's a bit of a swing. Not the most necessarily. We can even see right now Maros with Bren's rushing back in the other direction. And yeah, you're right. I never really quite appreciate the fact that there's 4 freaking Bren guns there.
Yeah, it's like the Bren group on steroids, really. We have a Panzerfaust as well.
I actually know what this is? This is like the Super Mario version. This is Super Mario.
It's like the one with the Fireball Mario.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, 17-pounder down the road. Good call on that, because he can pretty easily kill that Stug.
He can and does. Well done there. Jeez. Yeah. The Maros are sent packing, though. Apparently they've lost that power-up and get pushed back by just an absolute wall of firepower for these Pioneers.
Yeah, it's a shame that he didn't move in his, Gustatoriums and Pioneer troops in the forest. Because they're in a pretty good ambush position to come around the flank and really screw these guys up. Even, potentially killing that Pioneer Führer. That would knock down the veterancy of those troops by quite a bit.
That would certainly seem to be accurate. Oh. And bombs, yikes. Maybe that's why he didn't do that.
Yeah. That 109 is gonna do his darndest to keep air superiority.
Well, it's not been a good day to necessarily be in the Italian Liberation Air Force. The Auto Cobra over here, the Air Cobra, should be able to take this out. If he doesn't, that's just so much ground fire.
Yeah. He already lost his other 109, right?
He's
definitely lost that one.
He's got a total of 4. She's got a total of 4 on that card.
I was reading this too. There's a good reason I need glasses, apparently.
Well, I was gonna say, I was hoping I didn't have double vision. I do have glasses, so I was wondering. I was thinking, maybe one plane for each of my eyes, so I wasn't sure. Oh. But regardless, Sturmschützen brought to the northern side. He's just gonna isolate this forest, I think, and eventually just push up to the north. For right now, there's no need for him to do it.
Yeah, we're just seeing along the line, Luna has definitely lost a little bit of, the frontline beefiness as he had before. He has taken casualties. DarkNeutron is trading pretty efficiently. Though Luna still has a lot of artillery, and bringing in more artillery, he's got those 75mm guns on the field, which are just pounding that hill. Jesus.
Watch the Nebelwerfer. He's waiting to see what this is coming in. I'd like to think that what he's doing right now is trying to track it back the other direction. I'd like to say that.
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong. That's totally okay. But in my mind, that's the first barrage. That's where I'd be putting my first rounds. And he is. There we go. He is. He's got 1 chance at this, though. So he's got 2 Nebelwerfers going after that. Maybe a little bit overkill, but let's see how this really kind of works out. Because if he's able to kill this, he doesn't only kill the 75 mils, he also potentially kills that supply truck, which is going to knock out the 81 mil too. So decent.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, knocking out the artillery, I do definitely agree with it in this choice. Of course, using neighbor earthers and rocket artillery to hit the front line is nice, but he needs to knock out that fire support.
Now, unfortunately, he's very, very, very good about killing one of them, and makes the other one have to change its pants. But a full strike to kill one track,
Yeah, it's
unfortunately.
not great.
Yeah.
It's not terrible either.
Yeah, and it's so hard to say that sometimes, where it's like, it's not great, but it's not bad, but it's just kind of middling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sturmschützen against Gustatorius down to the southern side. I think this really should go only one way, but I'm interested to see how many losses they're able to take in the meantime.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, or they can just kill both. That's fine too.
Yeah, I think the Sturmschützen, they're pretty good at Sturming.
17-pounder also, by the way, goes down to the southern side. You see, there was a supply truck that was like, and we're gonna leave.
I think I can supply the trees over here.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, this is really turning around now for DarkNeutron. He's starting to, I think down south he's very close to like flipping the flag here. And just, I mean, up north is a meat grind. I don't think he's going to really make any good progress.
No, I think he can.
Down to the hill.
Yeah, I think he can. I think it will be another couple of minutes yet. But I think there's something here. Just looking at material until later. It's still a 12-12. Yes, we're in C. I get it. Everyone takes their income takes an absolute ridiculous dive.
Supply trucks like down south. Got
for whose side?
33.
Oh, so that killed the.
Stug.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see,
one trying to array.
Yeah, but you know that matters a little bit less now. Here comes another 75 mil, so he's going to try to go and engage that behind the forest. That's a good call. I'm trying to see. Oh, neighbor buffers are being shifted. Love it. Hopefully he engages the town. I'd love to see him hit that town flag. I'd love to see him hit that forest. He's got to know that there's a ton of junk in there.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, the forest is pretty well defended. The town, not so much. Only a few squads in there. Really just the Maros, which are the major threat. But, of course, he's mainly just focusing right now on the southern person and in C phase, of course. You can only really focus on 1 to 2 areas just because of your rather low income.
True.
He's straight from the
yes, he is.
The 109s.
he brought the 2 shoots. There's a storm shoots and then went down. 3 guys just went down. The Schutzen he brought in so that way he could get eyes on to kill it. And now the IG-33 over here is going to engage the Gustatori as they're coming down the road, and it's going to kill at least 2 of them.
Yeah. I love the IG-33 position in the Stug. It's been like a real battle on that road. It's a very long shot, but as you see in the position they are now, they're just denying reinforcements in the far southern flank. Luna's having to unload very early, and it's going to be a long walk for him to actually get to the front line.
The funny thing is there's 75 mil that's trying to engage. He's going to take out the IG-33. Almost for sure. Unless first rounds drop long. Ooh. Maybe he can make it out alive? It's a low percentage play. But he's getting super lucky as all the rounds are going long. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Congratulations, sir.
A lot of artillery fire here from Luna. And it's been saving his ass so far in this match. But the front line for him is not looking that great.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? Is that to say that it's not looking great? It's a kind of an understatement. Yes, we're gonna have a flak 43 over here, so taken up at the Gustatore, and another barrage goes out. These are looking for the 75 mils and a tube in the center. So he's getting 1 kill. He gets 2 kills. These are important kills.
Yeah, not bad. Knocking out artillery is really gonna screw over Luna.
Now, the IG-33 continues to limp on forwards. He's not going to do a whole lot for a little bit, but maybe he should be able to get some line of sight looking northern? No, maybe not. Maybe not. He's just going to focus on that southern road.
And we're still seeing that meat grinder up north. DarkNeutron's having a very hard time getting onto that hilltop, but yeah, he's managed to push back the Commandoshi. There's really not a whole lot left on the hilltop, apart from the Fusilier commandos. So if DarkNeutron was to actually push on through now, he can start flipping up the northern side. Joe, the town has gone back to the Italians, northern town that is.
That's true, and for the moment that's not really a big deal, but if you look at the swath of infantry that's right there, as well as the stroke through that's right behind it, that shouldn't be there for the longest time. They'll crest to the north first, you can see it right now, that Flame Lance, the Commandosi, the 2-inch mortar. 2-inch mortar's got six smokes rounds. I'd be throwing them down and bolting.
Yeah, he just has nothing up north here, really, for Luna. It's just a bunch of fire support at this point. He's bringing in some reinforcements, so this is going to be a very critical time for DarkNeutron to really just, you know, for him rush up north. He's keeping a lot of his units in reserve, which, I mean, of course, you have God Vision, we know there's nothing here, but he's just playing it a little bit more reserved, and that might screw him over a little bit.
Well, what we are seeing is that Sturmschützen are really imposing their will as we get into Phase C. This again, these guys are made to attack. It's literally in their name. It's in the name of their division, for Pete's sake. But we're seeing two squads right now waiting, just waiting, and I'm wondering if they're waiting to see if there's going to be a barrage before that happens, or... Well, there's a barrage looking for the tubes in the north, and... there's another barrage looking to the southern side. So, northern tube probably will go down. Yep. Gets hit. Takes almost a direct hit. Supply truck goes down as well. So, one by one, these are all getting nailed. There's a command and control vehicle to the south. Doesn't go down necessarily. But, regardless, one by one, all of the really, really important pieces of equipment are dying.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised as how effective the neighbor Earthers have been in the counter battery role. Like, he's definitely paid himself off just using them in that role compared to just a pepper in the front line. It's a more slower, you know, grinding down, but as we're seeing with the artillery becoming less and less prevalent here for Luna, he's having a very hard time just holding that front.
Well, and that's one of the things I guess that's quite important to note here is while there are really, really good single weapon systems being utilized, the Italians just don't have a super deep deck the further and further you go, especially when you build them as a Maverick deck. Yeah.
And I think we also just, like, forget just how crazy 78th infantry is. Like, just the amount of Schützen and Sturmschützen they can bring in is nuts. Because they're like elite, beefy squads with ridiculous firepower. And you can spam them in just like regular rifles, apart from the price. Availability is very generous. And as we're seeing here, once he's knocked out all the nasty fire support, he's getting into his infantry battles, and he is just mopping the floor of the Italians now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you want a good example of this, first of all, there's Sturmschützen in that northern town. There's a pair de assault, though. Yes, it wasn't a full-strength squad. Moved back to that way, bombing run, by the way, northern side. Came in, tried to go and take back a house that he had retreated from. About a half squad or so, instantly died. Meanwhile, a little bit further south from that, there's that single Sturmschützen squad that's right there. He's not the last guy that was there, but, you know, there was an engagement. There was a Commandosi that kind of came in, outnumbered 2 or 3 to 1, and still, at the dust settles, it's the Sturmschützen that are around, not the other way around here.
More neighbor Earth strikes, this time on the front line up north. And yeah, he's going to get the pin, the guys are going to fall back, and he is going to get the flag, and that's bring it to a 15-9.
The thing I've been enjoying here, and also there's an off-map barrage, the 210 in the next 28 seconds here, southern town. The thing I appreciate is the naval buffers generally, after they've gone and shot, they've been instantly picked up and they've moved.
Yeah.
That's the right call. Point. If you can move your equipment, move your stupid equipment.
Yeah, and these RSOs are actually, like, have a decent amount of supply.
So
he's been able to keep up, you know, these barrages.
Mm-hmm. 210 off map. So we talked on Tuesday about the fact that I think the 172s, or even the 105s, really gets a good coverage that you get. I'm interested to see if that off map over here is going to change my tune at all with the 210. I mean, it's reasonable. It has a good coverage over here. I like the coding. Gives you a nice little brown-red color of Viscera and Ghoul. I mean, it works. It works. 7 out of 10. Maybe would buy another gallon. I don't know.
Yeah, and we are going to see he's going to be following up the push. Only have a single Shuchen squad, the other one being forced back as well as a Stug. So he will be able to get a foothold into that town, but it won't be a tentative run. Just because there's still a decent amount of fire support backed up in the forest.
But right now, he's at
really
59.
Wants to move back Sherman. Like that commander, like that's the commander Sherman. That's something you really don't want to be on the front line.
I'm sorry, it's got Washington northern side here, so Sherman and Stug engage one another, and we're going to see, I think, the difference in quality here pretty quickly. Pink and kill. There we go.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, you're right. That's the super duper officer Sherman. Schutzen against the Maros. This should only go one direction, but technically inside cover, this should be the Schutzen's fight to lose.
Yeah.
Especially when they move outside the house. That's a dumb idea.
No. What he's trying to do is get within 100 meters, so the machine gun can't fire.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But that also puts him in line of the Stug, which makes it not a fair fight anymore.
So no, yeah, it's pretty indecisive. Yeah, in that little firefight, but we're seeing more Sturmschutzen being brought on up. So this town will inevitably fall to DarkNeutron.
I'm trying to see. Did the Nebelwerfer go down? I think the Nebelwerfer went down. Where'd the second one go?
Oh yeah, he did go down because he stopped moving one of them.
Yep.
The other one's still alive, so that's what happens when you don't move the artillery.
Yeah, exactly. As Monty Python once said, there's the importance of not being seen. In the northern side, geez, there's a flame lance that's behind. There's a Panzerschreck driving blithely by it. But other than that, we have ourselves like that scene in Dunkirk where we have a couple of the Brits just kind of hanging out in the boat before everything gets pounded by cannon fire. And outside of that, paratroopers are kind of effing around, but these guys are not going to be able to take back this northern complex. I think the northern hilltop, I think the southern hilltop, I think they're both gone. You're not going to get those back.
Yeah, southern hilltop 100%. He holds that hook, line, and sinker. And northern runner's route, he does have the ability to push all the way to the edge of the hill, but I think he's just pretty happy with his current position. He's got the 15-9. He's slowly bleeding out Luna, and Luna just doesn't seem to have any momentum anywhere.
So he's lucky right now, and I say Luna's very, very lucky, because right now the 150 Nebelwerfer is engaging that artillery piece. If he'd gone for that forest, that would have been at least 3 kills for sure. Look at the cluster of troops there. It's asking for it.
Yeah.
But we'll see what goes on here. So the 75 mil goes down at that point. I think that won't be the last one he's lost, but I think it'll be pretty close to the last one he's got going on.
He has like a decent amount in the deck. He's got the B-phase card, so he's got 8 of them. So it's not so much the availability; it's just the cost. I mean, they are cheap artillery guns, to be fair, but in C-phase, you don't really want to be losing your artillery because it's a unit you can afford not to lose if you do, a little bit of relocation.
True. But 6 of them aren't going to get you through the rest of that spot. So
yeah. So
guys, honestly, if anything else, just kind of think of this as ABCs of artillery. Always be shelling.
And be moving.
Exactly. Always be decamping. ABD. But we can see it right now. The Schutzen moving across the open field in the center. The Flame Lance, of course. Yeah, these guys are going to go and probably get their pound of flesh. They're going to cook it up real nice in a nice flambe. But I think it's more just because these Schutzen, Sturmschutzen, have just decided not to continue to move forward. Not because those guys can hold anything.
Yeah, I just think it's just lack of information. Of course, the one problem with his deck is he only has 1 unit of recon. Or 1 card of recon, I should say. So he's playing pretty much in the dark.
Well, he is fighting Luna.
Yeah.
So. Second barrage, 210 coming over here towards that town. And again, super, super lucky for Luna that, the stars were aligning, that it's going to fall to the west of where the most devastating hit could be. So he's getting super, super lucky here. But at the same time, I say that it is still 15-9. So let's not pretend that it is a perfect situation either.
Yeah, it'd probably just be enough to remove those Marrows from the town. He doesn't have a whole lot to really follow up with this push. I mean, also at this point, DarkNeutron's. I feel like he's just happy holding these positions, not doing anything too crazy. Because yes, his infantry is really good, but his infantry is also very expensive at 30 to like 30. Yeah, both Shuchen and Sturm Shuchen are 30 points. So you don't want to be. I mean, you want to use them in offensive operations, but you don't want to be throwing them away willy-nilly.
Two things. Wolverine taking out Strokes to the southern town. Funny thing, too, is... Ooh, another barrage. Here it comes. This is the next kill. There we go. Okay. The other thing about this, too, which is actually mildly amusing to me, is that Barrage got 4 kills aimed at the Maros. So, I mean, kills a Staghound, kills a bunch of guys in the trees, takes out a 47 mil, I think. I just, again, hindsight 2020, God Vision is 2010. And I kind of found myself wishing it had been placed on that forest.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like for me, with a lot of these maps, my first thought is engage the forest over engage a town, just because the forest itself is better cover than anything else.
Yeah, you can hide more stuff in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just infantry, it's also supply trucks and tanks and all of that lovely stuff.
And chickens and cows and things. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But again, 15-9. That southern town technically is still under control of Luna, but I feel like we're starting to get that little Dutch boy in the dam kind of idea.
And the Sturm Shuchen are going to be moving up. If he can get into like one of the few buildings which is still not completely destroyed, he can probably kill the paratroopers.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, he probably should be able to still be able to do it, even if he doesn't get inside the building.
Oh, because the paratroopers are in the ruins, so they don't have the best cover.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, another neighbor Earth strike.
He's figured out Luna.
Yeah.
He's figured out Luna.
Oh, the Pirates are going to be able to get the win here, being able to get first shot advantage, but pretty deadly for both sides.
The one thing that's been a little bit unfortunate is that the 75 mils, yes, solid artillery pieces, but I feel like he hasn't necessarily been trying to do counter battery fire, which for me, if I know that my counter battery fire has been working so far, I should be doing it again. I should be doing it more. I should be doing it constantly to make sure I can take out his equipment before he can kill mine. But, you know, again, God Vision, hindsight, you know, so I completely understand the position at the moment.
Yeah, it's just his artillery's been pretty much decapitated. I mean, it does really good work when it is able to fire, as you see, it's just pounding that hill. But we see the Sturm Shuchen finally been able, in the center, to get into that little farm complex here.
I'm feeling that the Lance Flames over here, yep, the Flame Lance guys, that's honestly forevermore what I'm going to call them, are bugging out, which is probably a good call. Just smoking it up and booking.
Yeah. And then northern side has pretty much just been a static defensive line. Once again, he's not trying to overextend. He will just be holding that front. He's just really just playing more in the central, I'd say southern town position, managing to get that flag and finally get some infantry into here. And, I mean, yeah, he's pretty much got the dub.
Oh, I definitely think he's got the dub. I think at 38, 35, 38, 40. Let's go 38, 40, please. Because 17-7 over here, I think we go times 2.
Sounds good.
Folks, as this game starts to wrap up a little bit, we do want to tell you guys it's going to be the last coverage for a couple of weeks here. Basic reason being, well, I'm going to be away. The Lady Khan and I are actually making it official. This old Canadian on the other side of the cast, well, he's coming too. So I'm going to be away on getting married. I have a honeymoon happening. Rang, I'm sure you got some plans over in the crazy Euro space as well, don't you?
Yeah, so it will be probably a few weeks, and then we'll be back to the regular scheduled program, and just Khan will be married.
Exactly. Well, every con needs his Conette, so I need to make sure I do that. And the plane that we'll be flying on at that point will be Con Air, and that was a joke. I'm preparing myself for dad stuff in the future. Okay.
And you can learn to fly it in Khan Academy.
Oh, dang, that's good. Yeah, yeah, you're right. I should know that too. Luna, in the meantime, you know, a 500 kill difference, so not exactly what I expected. I expected even harsher losses there.
Yeah, that's managing to hold out pretty well, just in terms of the KD. But yeah, looking at the kills, nothing.
A bomber did okay, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, and then losses falls like the 78th Sturm, which has all the German Wanderweapons. Not that much wonder.
No, but you know, I think it was one of those things that just solid overall, just maybe not stellar individually.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, well done. Really, really well done. Any final thoughts, sir?
No.
All right.
I was going to say have a nice reading, but I'll be here, so I'll just say in person.
You know what? And I'm looking forward to it. Folks, in the meantime, I'm sure, I know Rank's got some stuff kind of ready to go up while he's away. I'm going to try to do the same thing, see how that goes. But I'll see you guys on the other side of the aisle. Until next time, I'm Conolwork.
I'm Rangru, take it easy.